YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former world champion, former IBF super featherweight world champion, who turned well-renowned, well-respected, and future Hall of Fame trainer in Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia was a world champion himself. He fought in the sport of boxing. He was a featherweight world champion. He held a resume of 34 wins, 3 losses, no draws. 25 big wins by way of knockout. 3 times in his career, he was knocked out. He stood at 5'7.5" with a 67-inch arm reach. A lot of comparisons to his brother, who was a 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, that being Mikey Garcia, who's 5'6" with a 67-inch arm reach as well. Okay, Robert Garcia, he held the IBF title. He won it back in 1998, March of 98. He beat Harold Warren for the vacant IBF title. He held the belt, all the way up until his loss against Diego Chico Corrales, where he was TKO'd by Diego Corrales in October of 99. So he had the belt in 98, and he defended it, 2 times. Then he lost it to Chico Corrales. He lost, to Ben Taki after that. Then he came back. He had Sandro Marquez. He had a victory over him. Then he lost again to Joel Casamayor in the featherweight WBA title opportunity. Then he finished his career with a TKO win over John Trigg. That was back in September 2009. Then he called it a career. So Robert Garcia, and he's now been the head trainer for multiple world champions in the sport of boxing. So he's a well-renowned trainer, a trainer of the year, future Hall of Famer as a trainer, okay? With that said, Robert Garcia, he weighed in on the situation that took place a few weeks ago with 2-division undefeated world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who currently is the WBC reigning junior lightweight world champion, that being Oscar Valdez, testing positive for a banned substance on the PED list, which was amphetamine. He tested positive A sample and B sample, okay? But was still allowed to push forward with his fight against Olympic gold medalist, brilliant Brazilian star boxer, Robson Casacia, okay? And so Robert Garcia, he weighed in on what took place and the decision the WBC made, and that the WBC stood behind Oscar Valdez. And Robert Garcia and his son Peter, they went in on this situation, okay? And I respect both guys. I respect both stands. Robert Garcia, he was being a little optimistic about the situation, where Peter was not being optimistic. He said that Peter said this fight absolutely should not have taken place, and Oscar Valdez should have been punished, point blank and period. A fighter of the magnitude of Oscar Valdez, a world champion, superstar boxer in the sport of boxing on this level, he should know better what goes into a system, because Robert Garcia, he says that, sometimes, your grandmother, your family members may give you something you not know what's in it, okay? And so Peter said, you can't use that excuse when you're on the level of Oscar Valdez. You need to know exactly what's going in your system and what's coming out of it, point blank and period, okay? So he was having none of it. But Robert Garcia, he stated that, one interesting thing, he said that the WBC, World Boxing Council, Mauricio Suleiman, they made a joke of their sanction body, and they made a joke of Vada, okay? They used Vada testing. So he said they made a joke and they watered both down, and now fighters will not look at the WBC, nor will they look at Vada the same, okay? Because they made it simply a joke, point blank and period, okay? The WBC, they came out and they stated that they were standing behind Oscar Valdez because taking amphetamine is equivalent to drinking 3 Red Bulls, which we know the WBC is not a pharmacist. They're not, they have nothing to do with what performance enhancers are and what they're not, okay? Okay, so with that said, Robert Garcia, he stated that, that he understands exactly what took place, is that this fight was taking place in Oscar Valdez's backyard. For the first time, he's headlined a major card on Mexican Independence Day weekend in Arizona, that's where it's his adopted home. They made a big deal out of it. It's a huge event. And the bottom line is they simply could not walk away from what they had already previously built up. And so that's the reason why he wasn't punished. That's the reason why they let the fight continue to push forward. So Robert Garcia, he said they could have took other measures, as placing him on a suspension, making a non-title fight, things of that nature. Letting the world know and letting the boxing world know that you just can't, this can't happen. This can't take place. And Peter, he stated that, he agrees, and he says that, if they wasn't going to call the fight a halt, they definitely should have, according to Peter. He believes they should have just called it it should have just been done with. Okay. But, they stated that, maybe they should have, at least punished them, right? Let the boxing world know, because now, like Peter said, moving forward, because fighters fight in their backyard and they have mega fights and mega events, then now fighters are able to just say, well, I fight here, and the promoters and the commission, they don't want to lose money, so they're going to allow the fighters to push forward. He says it just opens the door for more fighters to now, take the same road that Oscar Valdez took. Okay. And he stated that, now, if you are a boxer, why would you have to pay to enter the WBC clean boxing program when they made it a complete joke? Okay, if you're not going to stand by your rules and your own product, then why should we? Okay, because you got to keep in mind that boxers that hold this WBC sanction body, they enroll in the clean boxing program, but they have to pay for it as well. Okay, a portion of that comes out of their pocket. And so, like Peter said, and Robert Garcia stated, now, why would fighters enroll in this program when it's a joke? Because now, you're going to pick and choose who you want to punish and when you want to punish them. Okay, depending upon the magnitude of the fight, when the fight is taking place, and where the fight is taking place, it determines whether a fighter is able to continue to fight, regardless if he tested positive for a banned substance. And Robert Garcia, he stated, and Peter stated, that it just simply does not matter how the banned substance got into your system. The bottom line is that it is in your system, point blank and period. And now you have to be held accountable for what goes into your system, because you are a high profile, high level athlete that's making a lot of money. And at the end of the day, you should be paying very, very close attention to what goes into your body. And they both stated that, sometimes the trainers, they can, do things that the fighters don't know, and give the fighters unfair advantages. He alluded to what took place with Antonio Margarito with the hand wraps. He says there is instances and times where the fighter trusts the trainer so much that he lets the trainer wrap his hands. He doesn't truly pay attention. And he gave an example of him wetting hand wraps and putting them to the side for a day, and then coming back and putting them on the fighter's hand, and then the fighter not knowing, and then he takes the gloves off, and he proved to the fighter that you indeed could have the fighter realize, oh, what is that you got on my hand? He didn't allow him to spar, but he said he hit the heavy bag. He worked out with those gloves. And then once he took the gloves off, he showed the fighter, listen, you see, you have on plastic hand wraps, because all it did was sit. So he says that, especially when you put a lot of trust and have a rapport with your trainer, you trust him, you're not paying attention to every little detail, what's taking place. So that's a strong possibility. And then, to my surprise, he goes on Alex Ariza. Okay, Alex Ariza is a guy who was a strength and conditioning coach for Manny Pacquiao. Alex Ariza is a strength and conditioning coach for Marcos El Chino Maidana. Alex Ariza was also a strength and conditioning coach for Brandon Rios. Okay, and he said that the situation that took place with Brandon Rios is that Alex Ariza, he never told them what was in the products that he gave to Brandon Rios, okay, and his fighters. And he just stated that Alex Ariza, they built the rapport, so they built the trust. And Alex Ariza, he knew and understood what's on the banned substance and what's not. And so they weren't truly aware of the protein shakes and the energy drinks that Alex Ariza was given to the athletes, okay? And it turned out not to be well for Brandon Rios, okay? So with that said, a lot of people, they speculated that was the case when Alex Ariza was with Manny Pacquiao, and that he was giving Manny Pacquiao some substances that Manny Pacquiao wasn't truly aware of what was going in his body. And that's when all of the speculation that Manny Pacquiao was using PEDs. Okay, he started going on a tear in the sport of boxing, became the only 8-division world champion in the sport of boxing history. Okay, so he says that Alex Ariza. This is why a lot of fighters today don't deal with Alex Ariza, because there's been a lot of reports and a lot of rumors that Alex Ariza was, giving his fighters things that, was giving them an edge. Okay, and I'll just leave it as that, allegedly. Okay, so he stated that this is what was taking place with Alex Ariza, and that, sometimes you don't know exactly what is in these energy drinks and these protein shakes, and you build up such a rapport that you trust everybody and they could get over. Okay, and I said this: the WBC has tarnished their brand. Okay, with a lot of different decisions they made. Most importantly, them introducing a franchise belt to the sport of boxing, so they can accommodate one fighter, that being 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Saul Canelo Alvarez, so he didn't have to fight his mandatories. Okay, and this decision to stand by Oscar Valdez after he tested positive A and B sample, that's not a good look. And that's a situation that they will never be able to, come back from. Plain and simple. So he says that you could go check this out. It's on Robert Garcia and Peter's YouTube channel. I respect their stance. I respect the fact that they're standing on their square. I respect the fact that they're saying there's a lot of questionable decisions being made on the part of the WBC, and it watered down their brand, because it completely did. It put a cloud over the WBC's brand that I don't believe they'll ever come back from. Okay, these 2 decisions, they hurt the sport of boxing and they hurt their brand, point blank and period. So I agree with both guys, and now Oscar Valdez is going to be under pressure from here moving forward. Okay, they should have just allowed Oscar Valdez to get ahead of it. Say, listen, I didn't know what was in. I don't know where it came from, so on and so forth. I promise I didn't knowingly take anything. Just deal with the consequences and move forward with your career. Okay. But the fact that it seems like it don't seem that you allowed him to get away with bending the rules, and you proceeded forward because money. Like Andre Ward said, Andre Ward's an Olympic gold medalist, retired Hall of Fame, undefeated, iconic superstar in the sport of boxing, and he says it's money over morals. Okay, that hit home. Okay, it's money over morals. So what Robert Garcia and Peter stated, I'm glad they stand on this square. I'm glad they are speaking up. We just recently saw Caleb Plant. He called Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez's whole team out. Eddie Reynoso now has had 4 fighters test positive for banned substance. He had Luis Neri, Martinez, Oscar Valdez, and Canelo Alvarez test positive for banned substance. Okay, so that's not a good look. And Caleb Plant, he called him out ahead of his highly anticipated undisputed showdown with Canelo Alvarez November 6th. So I'm glad Robert Garcia and Peter came out and stood on their square and let it be known that this is incorrect on the part of the WBC, and it watered down their brand and made them a joke. So let's see how this all unfolds moving forward. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.